as an example for a senior record book. Seniors are age 14 to 19 as of January 1st of the current year. So what that means is, if you turned 17 during this year, let's say how old you were on January 1st of the current year. So if your birthday is in May, on January 1st you were 16. So that is considered your 4-H age. It's how old you were on January 1st of the current year. Now with the record book, there are many different parts. And we started off with the 4-H project records, doing those. And I'm going to take this book apart for a moment to go through the different sections. One of them was rabbits, so she has her rabbit projects here, and this was when the project forms looked a little different. So she has all of her rabbit records. Then another project that she carried was photography. She took a photography class in high school. So we also had her do photography as a 4-H club project. She also did veterinary science. I'm a veterinarian, so she had fun working with me in the office, and in this there was no way that she could do an exhibit, but she had learning experiences of what she learned in the veterinary science project, and there is an excellent manual to fill out, and she enjoyed doing that. So here's her veterinary science project, and we put that in her book first, from the back. The next one here is her photography project, so I've got that one here. And then the last project that she has here is her rabbit project, and so I've got that one here. Then there should be a sheet that's tabbed, and the tab said project records on it. You want the tab to be recessed in the book so that when the book is closed, the tab doesn't sit up and out where it might be broken off. So the tab is usually one of those heavyweight pieces of paper that you have as a normal divider. When I get into one of the other record books, that'll be there. So the last thing is the project records. Then the next to last item, and this is what's so fun to do, are the project pictures. And you're allowed in Maryland up to 3 pages, and in this case they were done on the computer. So we put the images, the JPEG images there, and then there are captions that remind us what the different pictures were about. And it's nice to have pictures of you doing something. Now I do have a picture of her just standing here in the barn with her rabbit, but her other pictures, and we had a little bit of fun doing this, and these pictures showed her in the middle of the winter defrosting these bowls. Well, we actually weren't bright enough to figure out to do this in the middle of the winter. So this was actually June, and we froze the water bowls, and then dressed up in heavy winter gear, and we pretended to defrost these bowls. So sometimes you'll have to reenact some of your pictures, but it's nice to have pictures of you doing things, showing what you learned. So we'll put these project pictures here. This can be the real hard part for some of the 4-Hers, but it's definitely the most fun for me as a leader and also as a judge of record books, and that is the 4-H Club story. Now in the story, you want to write about your experiences this past year. Start off with a brief discussion, a little bit about yourself, your family situation, your parents or guardians, siblings. In my exchange students' story, she mentions that she came with the American Field Service, or AFS, and she came for a school year, arriving in August just in time for our county fair and staying through the end of June. She wrote a little bit about her Thai family as well as her host family, which was me and my daughters. She talked about going to the different rabbit shows, getting up early in the morning. What was fascinating was she learned the rabbit terms fairly quickly and served writing for judges as comments were given. And I'm a licensed judge, so she often wrote for me, which was a lot of fun that I had an experienced writer. It's nice for the story to be you, for it to be lively, informative. It can be funny. It's nice if parts of it are funny. There can be some sad parts that if something didn't work out. And it's important to share what you learned in your story. When you're done with the story, take it someplace and read it aloud to yourself. Does it flow smoothly? Or maybe there's some parts in it that maybe are a little too personal and could be rewritten. Remember, strangers are reading this and judging you, so you don't want to put in poor language or things that you might not want to read 20, 30 years later. Now, the hardest part of the 4-H record book, in my mind, is the next section. And these are the summary records. And it starts with a cover sheet, which is fairly simple. What's your name, rank, and serial number? Just kidding. What's your name and your address and date of birth? Then the next page lists your different projects. Well, if you've already done your project records, then take a look at your project records. Need had rabbits, photography, and veterinary medicine. And she had her 3 project records lined out. And the one column says, what life skills or subject matter did you learn? Well, these were already in the project records. So you don't have to sit there and think this up new. Cheat. Go back to your project records, and in the project records it says, what did you learn? Oh, that's what goes here. It's the same things. So you're just reiterating it. And then you'll say, well, why do I have to do this again? Well, if you only have one project, I can understand why you're confused. But with time, 4-H hopes that you'll have 2, 3, some 4-Hers manage as many as 12 4-H club projects. Many of the 4-Hers are homeschooled, and they actually use 4-H as part of their schooling. So they may have 8 projects or even 12 projects. So it's helpful to have a summary where, at a glance, I can see all of the different projects that you have. Now, on the far left-hand column, it says year. So in this project record, this was for the year 2004, and she spanned it to 2005 because of her record book basically starting in September and going until June. We then submitted the record in the end of 2005. At least I submitted it for her, so she had it done at that point. But most 4-Hers would just have a specific year. So this is 2014, and if this is your first year in 4-H, you write 2014. Now next year will be 2015, so under the projects you've got now, you can then put next year. Or if this is your second or third record book, you've already gotten the previous years, so now add to the bottom. So you keep using the same page, and you add, not a new page, but add to the bottom, and then when you run out of room at the bottom, then you can flip to another page. And some of these experienced 4-Hers have as many as 8 pages of projects because they've been doing 4-H for 8 years. And she also helped with a booth for the Howard County Fair. Oh, she helped make our 4-H Club booth before she left for Thailand, and then I submitted the booth at the Howard County Fair. So she listed all the various activities, and in this case she's now got them separate with 2004 and then 2005 at the bottom. So if she continued to stay in the United States, she could have had 2006 and 2007 before she aged out of 4-H. The next page is community service. She, as part of AFS, she served in concessions at the Orioles game, and she also served in the concessions at the Preakness. These were part of AFS, but she put it there because it's community service. Other members may list church activities that they did community service in. With leadership, she has that she was treasurer of the club. Committees that you served on will also go here, and this can be your local club. There may be some county activities that the older members have gotten into, but anything that chairing a committee, an office, any type of leadership goes on that particular page. We have 4-H honors and recognitions as the next page. Can be honors for a past record book, any other shows or recognition that you get through 4-H. And we did consider going to the American Rabbit Breeders Association as part of her 4-H Club project, because it was her 4-H Club rabbit. Even though that wasn't specifically a 4-H event, we used it as part of the 4-H Club project. The next page is classes, activities, and workshops. She attended photography class at her high school, so that is a fabulous workshop, and she spans it over 2004 and 2005. Then with her veterinary science, I taught her how to give injections and how to make up vaccines that I would then administer, and how to suture a pillow. So we didn't let her suture a live animal, but she did learn how to do this. Through the 4-H Club meetings, we had various workshops in rabbit care, care and feeding, diseases, how to prepare for a show, how to breed rabbits. So it is important that your 4-H Club have a program of several workshops within the meetings so members can easily get to these workshops. Our 4-H Club also has the summer judging team meets. The next page summarizes all of the community, religious, school, and other activities. If you're in scouting, that's where this goes. All of any church work. Neat played varsity lacrosse, and she was also at school in the Red Cross Club, and she attended our local church, which is Bethany United Methodist Church. Work experience. Now, this page, it says senior members, but I encourage members of all ages, juniors through seniors, to list your work experience. Needless to say, as seniors, you may actually have a paid job at McDonald's, or I know I worked in a hot house. I also worked as a dog groomer while I was a 4-H'er. You may have some babysitting jobs, but with the younger members, what are your chores at home? That's work experience. If carrying out the garbage is something that's assigned to you, I want you to write name of employer, family, or mom or dad, and your responsibility was carry out the trash. And the title, she's written worker here, but if there was a specific title as part, if you were a babysitter, if you mowed the lawn, walk the dog. You may have a job helping out next door neighbors. The last page of the summary record, yay, we're to the last page, are the highlights of the 4-H Club year. And with these highlights, they can be really good things that happened, they can be really bad things that happened. But we want to know what was going on in your mind. As a 4-H Club leader, some of my 4-Hers are very, very shy, and the only way I can learn anything about them is through their story and their highlights. So now I'm going to put the summary record in, and then there should be another divider with a tab on the end of it, and this tab happens to just be a little sticky note, but ideally it should be one of the regular dividers that you use for school. And just make sure that the divider tabs stay within your 4-H record book. This is a senior record book, so in Maryland we have 2 more items that go in here. The essay should be no more than 2 pages, preferably 1 page, to answer whatever the question is. And then the resume, there are some sample forms there. This gets you in the habit of starting to write a resume that you will need to get into college, to get a job. Now, the next thing that comes in here is a table of contents. And the last page here is your cover page, which is a picture of you. And then under the picture of you, we need your name, your 4-H age, that's the age you were on January 1st of the current year, and your address and county. Oh gosh, we're done. We've got it together. We lastly need the front cover of the book, and I need the little bar that goes in here. And now we're going to bend down the edges of the bar. So this is the official cover for an official record book.